Thank you all for being here. Buenos dias, buen dia. Um, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Dorith Galuz. We're going to be really, I feel this section and the interview to come later with Jean-Philippe Vert is looking at the ecosystem, but the collector's part of the art and cultural ecosystem. Yesterday, Lawrence Leck talked about kind of simulating the art world as if it's a fan club. So if we imagine that we're all in this fan club and there's curators and artists and museum directors and collectors, I think are a very, very critical part. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Loop and to start with hearing about how you started collecting.
It's okay. First of all, thank you, Amira, to invite me. And sorry for my English. Maybe I will ask to Amira sometimes some words. I begin with my husband. It's important. It's really a couple who had the same passion about art, and we began in 35 years ago, approximately, in between 80 and 90. And at the beginning, I explain a little bit the story. Okay. So at the beginning, we go to see a lot of exhibition, and in galleries after. And one day we bought our first artwork. And it was at the beginning, it was mostly paintings. But 2 years after the beginning, we met. Yes, we met other couples, and we decided to found a group to buy to visit a studio artist and to buy artworks for the group and sometimes for us. And it was a very important meeting because we met a young girl. Her name is I forget the name actually.
Annie Bly.
Oui, it was the daughter of a very big gallerist in Paris, Hélène Fleiss. Voilà, Hélène Fleiss. She was 20 years old, and at this time she invited us to visit Claude Lévesque studio, Dominique Gonzalez Foster, Tania Moreau, all these artists, very young, and we discover, my husband and me, we discover that we can meet and dialogue with artists the same age of us. And it was very important. This dialogue began very important for us in our process to approach art, contemporary art. So we changed completely our mind, our vision, and we begin to discuss with the artist. Some collectors doesn't like to have contact with the artist. For us, it's really important. And now, 35 years later, we have some artists we never stop the contact, and our collection begin really different.
Do you always agree, your husband and you?
Sometimes not. Sometimes not. I can explain one example. Maybe 2 years ago, I was really impressed by an artwork of Cali Spooner. And it was for me, it's an individual performance. It's a performance with peers. You have to take care of the peers. You have to choose peers really perfect. Cali Spooner told me radioactive peers, and without wrinkles, without taches, comment on dit taches? Stains. And my husband told me, you will not buy this. It's slavery. And I said, yes, it's exactly what Cali Spooner wants us to experience. So I want to experience this, but alone in my house during 2 weeks. I decide to experience this performance, and it's really a slavery.
So this is, I think, from our discussions the past 2 days, I'm very interested in the dynamic aspect of your collection. So you acquire an artwork, and then you hang it, or you show it, or you exhibit it, and sort of that's it. So 35 years of this collecting, do you feel it stays static? It's unchanging? How do you use, where does the collection go? How do you live with the collection?
My apartment is full of artworks, but not so much. And because every artwork has his place. And the people who came in my house often told me the hanging, the artworks really discuss
Dialogue with
it's
one another.
dialogue one another, yes. And I changed the hanging every 3 or 4 years because it works. It need a lot of work to change, and I
You land?
I land often for exhibition in. I land really because artworks has to be seen. It's very important for the artist. So when somebody asks me for an exhibition, I am always okay.
And how do you research the art? What is the process that you go about collecting? From when you started, has that changed? Have you had art advisors?
No, never.
Never. Okay.
Never. I don't like.
Okay.
I am
Why?
very personal, very individual. I remember when I began to collect, I was in a dinner with an old collector, old for me at this time, and I asked him, "Do you have an advice for me?" I begin, so do you have an advice? And he told me, if I have one advice, you must always collect with your eyes, not with your ears. And it's an advice it's always in my mind. So I am very individual. And recently in the Paris Plus Art Fair, I was with an artist, and he told me, "Oh, Dorith, you have to buy this. It is very interesting. It's very good work." And it's the first time I said, okay, but after a few hours, I came back to the gallery and said, "No, sorry, it's not really my choice. I was influenced.
Yes.
Influenced. So I am really sorry. I want to take my time and to study. I study a lot about artists. When I don't know an artist, I take time. I ask to the gallery a file, and I like the galleries which I can speak with. The galleries that just in the market who give you the price. I have an experience with a gallery in Paris, so I ask renseignement.
Information.
Sorry, information. And they told me he's a genius. I said, okay, so what? He's genial. I said, okay, could you send me a file? And I didn't buy this artwork in this gallery, but in another, in Brazil. It's so easy today. If your gallery is not they didn't give you the information you need, it's easy to go in another gallery.
So I had, as I was preparing for our talk, Emilio Loop had produced I Have a Friend Who Knows Someone Who Bought a Video Once on collecting video art, this Loop project. And I had the great time reading Haro Kombosian's Psychoanalyzing the Collector. And I know you're a psychoanalyst, but here I wanted to kind of take you through his thinking, in which he quotes a Belgian collector, Mark van Merkerk. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. And here he talks that collectors are really three types: amateur, investisseur, or décorateur.
Oh, terrible.
And Haro goes through and develops this idea, saying there's really three purposes in collecting. There's the intellectual challenge, the collection that's really looking for that intellectual dimension into the artwork. There's those of financial gain, and there's those of vanity. And he says in the best possible way, which I particularly like, which is a kind of show. And where do you feel your collection fits in?
Yes, I agree with Aro. There are some collections now, actually. I said it's not necessary to hang the artwork, just the price. Sometimes there are collections, the artwork is not important. The price is important for these people. It's not my way to collect. I am not an investisseur because I am interested and I support for 35 years emerging artists. If I am an investisseur, maybe the young artist I support or I buy today, maybe in 20, I don't know, in 10, in 20 years, I'm not here to know if there are well-known artists. It's not my trip. It's my interest is, I think, intellectual.
And do you have a theme? So I'm wondering, how does your psychoanalytical background impact the way in which you choose, the way in which you display? Sort of how has that made your choices? And is it present in your collection? Is it around, what is kind of the focus?
No, I don't buy artwork who speak about Lacan or Freud or no. But to be honest, psychoanalysis inside me. My way to see an artwork, it's influenced by my background, sure. So for me, an artwork has to nourish me in my research of sense of the life. And the theme in our collection, not really a theme, but the question of identity are very important for us. There is something I thought a few months ago. I realized in the beginning of the collection, we bought, for example, for those who knows Philippe Thomas or EFP, and it was a part of the collection about the fiction and reality. It was the beginning of the publicity. So EFP, Philippe Thomas or others was speaking about this limit of the reality and the publicity and the illusion and today there is another limit between fiction and reality with the IA with and it's another way to think, very actual, this limit, and it's very interesting. And about the theme, yes, I think identity, for example, we have, I can give some example. Yes, I have to precise before. When I speak about an artwork, I want to precise, it's not the artist who said this or this. It's my way to interpret and to accueillir.
To welcome.
To welcome an artwork in my heart, in my mind. So it's my personal eye, okay, and interpretation. For example, we had a Pierre Huyghe picture about his when he went in the Antarctic to find albinos penguin. It was very interesting for me. The question of the differentiation. It's also a psychoanalytic concept, and Pierre Huyghe finds this albino penguin, but he never made a picture with this albino penguin, but just a portrait, individual portrait. So for me, it's really a way of how you could live, you could be different of the group. It's a question about identity, or maybe the last years more engaged, political engaged artworks, maybe with we have a video from David Horwitz. I was really, I love it. It's not the picture who is interesting, but it's the concept. David Horwitz went to the private golf course of Trump, and all the night he, in English, I don't know, il a semé. He puts with
He spread seeds.
Seeds in the private golf course of Trump, and I love the gesture because it's a way to set your wall between the Mexico and the US
in
America. It's nothing. It's difficult in English, but en français, oui. La nature est plus forte.
That the nature is much stronger than your walls.
Very important.
It's much more powerful than your walls.
Yes, it's a concept very important. The human is sometimes so small, and they think they are very strong and very powerful. It's important to. Voilà, about identity. I spoke yesterday about some artworks difficult to hang. Yes, I think about Amalia Ullmann.
Yes, we were discussing, do you always live with the artwork? What if you acquire an artwork that is difficult to live with?
And about Amalia Ullmann, who works at the beginning in Instagram. And I saw a picture she produced. It's because she works with her body, her personality, different personality, and it's a picture of her face with sperm. And I was very interested about this picture because there was sperm, but there was also the cache of Instagram. So you don't see all. And in an art fair, I found the picture. I tried to find the picture in the gallery in the America, and they didn't have. And in art fair, I find this picture, but there was not the cache. And I asked to the gallery, but I want the picture with the cache. I saw it in Instagram, and she said, yes, we decided a few days ago to produce it, so I buy it because the cache is also important, not only the sperm, the cache, because it's difficult to see, and Instagram censor. So this picture is difficult to hang in my house. So now my children are big. My children are big. Maybe and not here, so maybe I will.
But what was the sense of urgency that you felt in wanting to acquire that artwork? What did it speak to you?
Which artwork?
This artwork. Why did you want to get it, even though you weren't sure you could live with it?
Because I think it's an important theme, the violence against the woman. How do you build your identity as a woman when you feel this violence around you? It's Amalia in this artwork. In other artworks, you speak about another violence, about the violence, like Alice Spooner, about the violence of the likes. You have to have a lot of likes, and your identity is very important with this. It's a violence, all the likes, and yes, it was urgent for me, my husband, but for me, it was urgent to buy this artwork in our collection. It's, je vais dire en français, ça apporte une ponctuation importante dans le thème.
Message in the theme of the collection.
Connection, yeah. Yes.
Yesterday, Andrea Lissoni was talking about, of course, as a director of a museum, he was talking really about the bodily perception to interrogate the legacy of modernity, that in some ways, the way we hang and we show the artwork, it's not just to be looked at, but it's for a bodily interaction with it. Do you,
bodily,
like you have an experience
oh
of
yes,
it,
okay,
that it is not only a kind of gaze, you're not just walking through and looking at the different things, but there's a kind of interaction. I realize that there's really nowhere that makes most sense than actually in a private home, where you were describing to me sitting and listening to some of the artworks that you had of the Calas.
Angeletia, yes. Alors, il y a beaucoup de choses dans votre question. Ah oui, l'expérience d'abord. L'expérience. Yes. Sometimes I meet some artist or curator who question me about the collection, and sometimes these people said to me, it's a little bit narcissistic, the collection, huh? Because and maybe your collection, they didn't say that, but and I always answer. First of all, as a psychoanalyst, there is a good narcissistic way. Narcissistic is not always bad. It depends. And for me, my collection, every hanging in the apartment is like a book. It's like a chapter of a book. And I read it every day, not all the pages, but sometimes one pages. And I can stay there and see the dialogue between two. And the hanging change, and also the hanging change with the dialogue between the artworks, but also some didn't change because, je vais le dire en français, je n'ai pas épuisé le sens d'une œuvre encore. Alors elle va rester.
The different meaning of each artwork, so it stays.
Elle va rester, peut-être un accrochage, deux accrochages.
One hanging, two hanging.
Yeah, because and sometimes there are artworks which are missing for me, and I need it, and I come back as I come back in my house. It's for me, the sense is very important in an artwork, and the dialogue between the artworks. I am searching the sense. Yes, not only in the artworks, but artworks help me a lot. It's another way. It's not. It's an human and experience also for me. It's not only an object. Behind the object there is a human being.
And do you get involved with the artist? Do you engage with the artist? Do you go to their studios? Do you see their means of cultural production? Sure. Do you think of taking more than one piece and kind of? I remember we were talking about Tarek, and kind of your support.
Tarek, who just had the Marcel Duchamp Prize. I discovered him in the Beaux-Arts University, in his studio there. And yes, I bought at this time 3 pieces. And recently he told me, because we have a very close relation, he told me recently, you know, you are the first collector who bought a piece, and all this time, for maybe, I don't know, 10 years, I support him. Yes, I'm close. We speak often together, and young artist. I am.
You have the habit of?
Yes, I have the habit to go to artist run space, and you know, also it's very interesting to ask to the artist. Sometimes the artists, some are partagés.
They share.
Some they share their other their friend, their artist friend. Some not, and but you ask, and speak to you, it's good if you go there or you see the artist, and after the time, it's easy to meet artists. And now you have Instagram also. You have a lot of way, and there are places in the world also in Europe very important, and the Vite is not the same name now, but the Kunsthal à Bâle. You have different place important, and the artisan space in Paris. Paris now is a very, very active, yes, very active place.
Before we open to questions, if we are looking at the collector as a critical part of the ecosystem of the art and cultural world, I'd like you to just tell us a little bit about your advocacy and your support of the artist in institutions, because with your links to different museums, to different institutions, you are also able to take it also a step further.
Yes, for me, it's collect is not only to buy an artwork. You can help young artists for different ways. My ways, because it's okay for me, is to help us to make connection with other people, actor in the art scene, art world. For example, in my house, I organize frequently. I give a moment for an artist to make a performance or a dialogue or something, and I invite people. Sometimes I met curators or other artists. It's very important, this dialogue between
within the community.
Yes, sometimes they met people, they have one or two exhibitions and they are very happy, and I am very happy for us. And also another part, I am active in the ADIAF. I am member of the ADIAF is comment je vais expliquer? Voilà. Bon. Yes, and I am in the committee, artistic committee. So I frequently give names of artists to make a studio visit, and it's always young artists, not especially for the price. They are not ready for the price, the Marcel Duchamp price, but it's the beginning to see the studios and think about this artist, and maybe 5 years after they are ready for the price. And the French collector begins to discover this artist. Well, it's my role.
Your role.
It's my role in the ADIAF. And also, I am working in no, it's not. Comment on dit, c'est pas rémunéré. Comment
Yes,
c'est?
yes.
Not working, but
Yeah.
acting. I don't know. In Friends of Pompidou as a mécène, okay, but I work hard for the files of the artists, and I try to enter in the Pompidou collection. I tried a lot. Next week, I have another file with a Japanese artist, Shimabuku. I will try. And the best for me is the Knapp. I am very, very happy in the Knapp, because Knapp is the national collection. And in the Knapp is very interesting, because the commission is with professional members, so it's easier than Pompidou, but it's it's easier to present young and artists and prospective art, and I love prospective art, so it's easier than Pompidou.
Do we have any questions for Dorith in the audience?
After finding the two pieces of art dialogue with each other, do you try sometimes to bring the actual artists together to see if the real life dialogue reflects the dialogue that you imagine the paintings having? Je voulais que je vous le dis en français. Quand vous avez remarqué que deux toiles dialoguent entre elles, est-ce que vous avez eu l'expérience de mettre ensemble, de réunir les artistes différents qui ont fait ces toiles pour voir si leur dialogue dans la vraie vie reflète un peu ce que vous avez imaginé comme dialogue sur les murs, entre les murs?
It happens I invite the two artists, for example, but we never spoke about their. No, this dialogue is really, I think, intimate for me. Yes, it's very important, this intimacy.
You have another. Je dis la phrase, enfin la question en français, vous traduirez. Un autre souvenir un peu piquant de la collection. Another memory a bit, I don't know, interesting or funny about choice of your collection.
Funny, I don't know. No, I don't remember now. Kali Spooner, I explained. Funny, or sad? No. Yes, you answer me, and it will connect. Tout à l'heure, vous m'avez demandé et j'ai pas répondu à quelque chose.
I had asked you a question and you hadn't responded.
Yes, for example, we have about Anglecia. We have a video about La Calas. I don't know if somebody knows this video. It's a video he made in maybe 86 or 89, I don't know, in Villa Médicis. And it's a video for La Calas. It's a video without sound. It's really the moment where La Calas is inspiring and breathing, just this moment, not the moment she's singing. And we have another work of Anglecia. It's the opposite. It's a column of film box like before.
It's like the old canister boxes of film.
Yes. And here you have no images. It's the opposite. You have no images, but you have only the sound of the film Le Mépris de Godard. And really, maybe it's not happy or fun, but it's a real pleasure only for me to hear in my house all the sound of the Mépris, and I can imagine the film. There is a place for my imagination. It's important. It's not fun, but it's pleasure, really pleasure. Voilà.
It's really living with the arts.
Completely. It's very important for me. C'est quotidien. It's every day.
I wanted to ask you about videos, and I have to say that I've had the great fortune of visiting your home, and it is an absolutely wonderful experience. So thank you so much for your hospitality. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about videos. How long have you been interested in videos? You mentioned you have a long, you've been interested in art and collecting for a very long time. Have videos always been part of your interest, or is it a more recent interest? And also, how do you go about living with videos in terms of displaying?
No, we didn't collect videos in the beginning. I told you, first paintings for 2 years, after installation, etc., etc. One day, I don't remember the first video about, don't remember, but it's more recent, maybe 15 years. And for me, I'm not only a video collector. I am an art collector. And sometimes I fight in the idea about the question of the medium, because for me, the medium, is not the most important. The most important for me is what the artists want to tell us, to share with us. And sometimes the video is the best way. I think about a video of Ismail Bari. It's a video very simple. You have his arms. I don't know.
His wrist.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's his. And you have, je vais le dire en français, ça c'est compliqué. Il y a une goutte d'eau
A drop of
sur la
water
veine
on the vein.
et cette goutte d'eau bouge au rythme du cœur, du battement du
And the
cœur.
drop of water moves with the
Comment
heartbeat.
vous pouvez représenter la vie à travers cette goutte d'eau? Comment vous pouvez la représenter dans une peinture, dans une installation, je ne sais pas, enfin, dans une sculpture? C'est la vidéo. C'est seulement la vidéo
can
qui
you
peut
represent
exprimer
this?
ça.
In a painting, in an installation, it's only video that can represent this.
La vidéo
That can express this.
de David Horowitz que je citais tout à l'heure, vous pouvez faire une photo, vous pouvez, et on voit l'homme qui... j'ai continué en français.
It's okay. Nope,
Sorry.
pas de problème.
Je me suis pas rendu compte. In the video, David Horowitz video, you can take a picture of David, j'ai toujours pas retenu le nom, semé. Vous put seeds on
Yes.
the golf
Yeah.
tramp,
Good.
the golf course. It's not the same when you see the video and this man who all the night put seeds on the earth, the course, the golf course. So it's the same, maybe a video from Enrique Ramirez, Un hombre que camina. I love this video. I think I was the first who buy it. But no, the second. The second, Isabelle, the second. Okay.
Tell us about this.
Bon, en tous les cas, this video has a moment very exceptional when the man is going, Isabelle, is going in near a ruin, in ruin.
Near archaeological ruins.
Yes. And after a moment, he left, and son ombre, his shadow stay on the water. How could you film without the video? You see the man walking back, but the shadow staying in the water. It's a moment, it's a magic moment in this video for me. So the video can show something, and that's why I am interested in video or in other medium, because it's different. An artist can express something better with a video or with a picture or paintings, etc.
I have to say that there is a particular pleasure sitting here listening to you speak in front of this audience, but particularly Rafael Ortega, who yesterday was talking about, as a filmmaker, cinematographer, the process is the whole fun part. But we were thinking about the film process, and now we're hearing from a collector's point of view, her love for the process you create. So I'm just having this moment right now that's quite precious. Thanks to Loop. Any more questions?
There are kind of two questions. But first question is, you're mentioning constantly the idea that collecting is like a very important part of the ecosystem of the art world, and there is demand from the collector, from the gallery, to be professional and to, if you're asking for information, they have the information in time with, understandable and, everything. And from the artist, that he delivers the piece, and the piece is in time, it works, and it holds in time, and it doesn't fall apart. And is there such thing as a professional collector?
Such a thing as
a professional collector?
Sorry.
Wait, there was a first part to the question.
I mean, there is a demand from the collection. The collectors are part of the ecosystem of the art world, important part. And as part of that ecosystem, demands to a gallery to be professional, artists to be professional. My question is, are collectors professional? Can they become, are they not professional? When do you, 35 years? I
Well,
can ask you a question.
yeah, and it's really looking at your trajectory. What was your collecting like back then? And how have you become a professional collector?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing?
Alors, yes, sometimes people ask me, do you want to open a gallery? And I said, never. Never. I'm not interested about this. You know why? Because I'm free, completely free to like this artist, doesn't like this, not artist, artwork, or I am completely free and I love to be free. When you are a gallery, you're not completely, you have a program, but you're not. Now, actually, we see in the gallery so much paintings. It's not freestyle. Huh? It's not completely freestyle. It's a lot market problem. And so it's important for me to be free. I'm not professional. I tried really in my measure. You know, maybe it was 10 years ago. I was a very discreet collector, and somebody came and asked me to make an exhibition of part of our collection, and I discovered I was collector. Really, I am really honest. Really honest. It's not for the show. I discover I was because it's the other the eyes of the other
gaze of
people
you.
who yes, I am collector. So I'm not professional, really, I'm not. But I try to help, in the life in general, not in artwork only. I have emotion when I think about this. Le lien.
The connection.
The link, the connection, the human link, it's really important for me. I think there is a very nice book of an ethnologue, French ethnologue. The title is The Solh of the Life. And I think the link is the Solh of the life. It's the most difficult thing and the more beautiful thing. So I am a collector, so I try to make links between people because we share our passion. It's part of the link to share passion. Not for with all people, not all. I am not a saint. I have my choice, and voila.
Thank you very much. I think it'll be interesting to take that question on to our next speaker, Jean-Philippe Verne. So thank you, Dorith, very much for this.
It was a pleasure.
this
Thank you to
café.
invite me and to